The situation at German dealerships has gone from critical to a complete nightmare. The lots are overflowing with brand new cars that have become like real estate. Nobody touches them, nobody asks about them. Even the aggressive strategy of cutting 16,000 euros off the list price isn't having any effect. We're seeing everything from electric spaceships costing over 300,000 euros to hybrids that have been gathering dust in the same spot for more than 2 months. The manufacturers promised us a revolution, but the supposed mobility of the future is now only serving to fill salespeople with panic as they watch their inventory rot month after month. Nissan Ariya, the ghost of the road. Nissan launched the Ariya hoping to make a splash and reclaim its electric throne. The result? It's become a ghost car. It's as rare to spot one in Germany as it is to encounter a limited edition exotic. The statistics are stark. Only 260 units were registered in the first half of 2025. Rival brands sell that many before lunchtime. The curious thing is that the car isn't a disaster. Visually, it's acceptable and its technology is decent. The real tragedy is that Nissan has lost touch with the market. With a Leaf that no longer convinces and a Qashqai that's starting to show its age, the brand's image is at rock bottom. Asking almost 70,000 euros for the all-wheel drive version is, quite simply, a lack of understanding of the Korean competition, which offers more for less money and with better warranties. No matter how much dealerships try to push it with desperate leasing offers, the Ariya teaches us a vital lesson. In the saturated world of SUVs, being acceptable is equivalent to being invisible. BMW X5, xDrive 45e. The end of privilege, the BMW X5 xDrive 45e went from being the darling of executives to a headache no one wants in their inventory. For years, this SUV reigned supreme thanks to tax incentives. But as soon as the government cut off the subsidies, the house of cards collapsed. Today, these cars spend an average of 70 days gathering dust at dealerships, twice as long as their gasoline or diesel counterparts. On paper, its 339 GP seems like a marvel, but the technical reality is a hard compromise to swallow. We're talking about a nearly 2.5-ton behemoth powered by a 2-liter engine that, as soon as the battery runs out, which happens after barely 50 real-world kilometers in winter, becomes thirsty, easily exceeding 10 liters per 100 kilometers. Paying over 90,000 euros for a vehicle that no longer saves you on taxes and guzzles fuel like a truck simply doesn't make sense to today's buyer. The era of the convenience plug-in hybrid is over, and the X5 is the most visible victim. Opel Zafira Life. The dilemma of the worker's disguise. The problem with the Opel Zafira Life is that it suffers from an incurable identity crisis. Opel tried to convince us that a Vivaro cargo van could pass for a luxury minivan simply by adding floor mats and more comfortable seats. But customers aren't stupid. Nobody wants to spend more than 50,000 euros on a vehicle that, from the outside, is indistinguishable from the van used by the local electrician. As long as families remain obsessed with SUVs and their elevated driving position, passenger vans like this one will continue to dig their own graves. It doesn't matter if it offers 9 seats or a cavernous 500-liter trunk. Aesthetics now trump logic. Dealerships are desperate, slashing 9,000 euros off the price and offering practically giveaway financing. But the resale value plummets, losing half its value in just 3 years. It's not a bad product, it's simply a concept the market has chosen to ignore. Volkswagen ID. Buzz. An electric myth that won't start. Volkswagen thought that nostalgia and a battery could work wonders. But the ID. Buzz has turned out to be the financial black hole of its electric range. The idea was to resurrect the essence of the iconic Kombi, but the numbers tell a horror story. Barely 5,000 deliveries in Germany since 2022. To put that in perspective, the Golf has sold 20 times more in the same period. Why this rejection? It's simple. People don't want to pay over 60,000 euros for a van that's more about style than practicality. It's a commercial vehicle that fails at the most basic level. Its second row is narrower than a Tiguan's, and its trunk is ridiculously small compared to any standard van, which offers twice the cargo space. To make matters worse, its range is a mirage. Of the promised 400 kilometers, you're stuck with a meager 250 kilometers when the cold weather arrives. Not even 10,000 euros discounts can convince anyone. In the end, the ID. Buzz is the perfect example of how a pretty face can't compensate for a prohibitive price and a complete lack of practicality. Peugeot 508. When design ruins your life, the Peugeot 508 is the perfect example of what happens when designers win the battle against engineers. It's a beautiful car, yes, but Peugeot has invented an absurd concept. A vehicle that's gigantic on the outside but feels tiny on the inside. At almost 4.80 meters long, it has less trunk space than a Volkswagen Golf. That sporty roofline looks great in photos, but it makes any passenger over 1.80 meters tall feel claustrophobic in the back seats. The results at dealerships are dismal. Only 1,500 people bought one in Germany at the beginning of 2025. Meanwhile, its rivals from Volkswagen and Skoda are selling like hotcakes. Who's going to pay over 50,000 euros for a Peugeot hybrid that's so impractical? Salespeople see these cars sitting idle for over 100 days without a single inquiry. It's a money-losing machine. In just 3 years, your brand new 508 will be worth 60% less. A lesson in the fact that pretty curves are worthless if you can't even fit your monthly groceries in the trunk. Porsche Taycan, the titan that lost its spark. There was a time when the Taycan was the undisputed king, the electric car that even petrolheads wanted to drive. But the honeymoon is over. Right now, there are nearly 2,000 units gathering dust at Porsche centers in Germany. Seeing a brand accustomed to kilometer-long waiting lists admit it can't sell its cars is a sign that something is seriously wrong. The used car market is proving to be a bloodbath for this model. Its value has plummeted to 30,000 euros in just 12 months. Who's going to shell out more than that? 120,000 euros for a fully equipped model, knowing that a new version is coming next year that will make yours look prehistoric? Add to that the fact that in the dead of winter, its sports car-like range dwindles to a meager 300 kilometers. Despite Porsche's boasts about ultra-fast charging, the actual infrastructure rarely lives up to its promises. Even 15,000 euros discounts aren't enough to win back customers. The Taycan is proof that not even the Stuttgart badge is immune to the harsh realities of the electric vehicle market. DS7, Crossback, luxury that suffers from invisibility. The DS7 Crossback proves that luxury isn't just about expensive leather and shiny buttons. Luxury is, above all, prestige. Since its launch in 2017, this SUV has battled its biggest enemy. Nobody knows what a DS even is. In Germany, sales are a joke. Barely 250 units in 6 months. Even Chinese brands that have just arrived on the market are already outselling it. The sad thing is, the car is genuinely good. It's built on a solid platform, and the interior looks like it came straight from a Parisian boutique with materials that rival those of Audi or Mercedes. But the premium customer doesn't care about Alcantara if they can't show off the logo. Paying over 50,000 euros for a brand with no history is a risk almost no one takes. The result is cars that spend 100 days in the showroom and which, after 2 years, are worth 60% less. Without heritage or trust, the DS7 is just a Peugeot in an overpriced suit. Renault Talisman, the most feared bumper in the used car market. The Renault Talisman is a car that officially died in 2022, but its ghost continues to haunt used car dealerships. Renault tried to challenge the German giants in the sedan segment, and the result was a humiliating defeat. Today, seeing a Talisman on a sales website is like witnessing a financial tragedy. Units that once cost 35,000 euros are now being valued at less than 8,000 euros after just 3 years. We're talking about a loss of value approaching 77%. The situation is so bad that many dealerships no longer even accept the Talisman as a trade-in. They want to get rid of it at all costs. Although it's a spacious, comfortable car with a huge trunk in its station wagon version, the public perception is that French sedans are a problem for the future. If you look up depreciation in the dictionary, this Renault should appear in the picture. It's a car that went from the factory floor to being scorned by buyers without any intermediate steps. Mercedes EQS SUV, the giant with feet of clay and a price tag of gold. The Mercedes EQS SUV arrived promising to redefine luxury in the battery age, but all it's really redefined is the concept of absurd price. We're talking about a behemoth that starts at 110,000 euros, but easily doubles that figure if you play around with the configurator. The problem is, not even billionaires are immune to logic. Paying 200,000 euros for a car that lacks the soul of a combustion engine doesn't offer breathtaking range, and fails to generate any emotional connection is a step very few are willing to take. The figures in Germany are a reality check for the Mercedes-Benz brand. Barely 800 units sold in 6 months, falling far behind its younger sibling, the EQS sedan. Although its gigantic hyperscreen looks like something out of a science fiction film, for many owners, it's more of a distraction than an advantage. And the worst comes after the purchase. Losing 40% of its value in just 12 months is an unacceptable financial drain, even for a flagship model. Dealerships are desperately trying to sell units that have been sitting idle for months, but the market message is clear. 200,000 euros is a psychological barrier that current technology can't yet justify. Alfa Romeo Giulia. The beauty that no one dares to buy, the Alfa Romeo Giulia saga, is worthy of a book. It's arguably the best driving sedan in the world, boasts captivating Italian design, and a sound that sends shivers down your spine. Yet, commercially, it's a complete disaster. While BMW sells 20,000 units of its 3 Series, Alfa barely manages to sell 800. It's an utter humiliation. The problem isn't the car, it's the fear. In Germany, confidence in Alfa Romeo is at rock bottom. The network of service centers is practically non-existent. Spare parts are incredibly expensive, and the brand's reputation for unreliability continues to haunt it. Nobody wants to risk 40,000 euros on a car that depreciates by 60% in 3 years, when for the same money, you can get an Audi or a BMW that will hold its value much better. No matter how much dealerships lower the price by 10,000 euros or offer extended warranties, the Giulia remains that stunning girlfriend everyone wants to dance with for a night, but no one wants to marry. And there you have it. 10 cars that went from being brand promises to becoming dealerships' worst nightmares. Do you think any of these models deserve a second chance? Or do you agree they're high-risk purchases? If you've had the chance to drive one of these duds or know someone who suffered from their depreciation, tell us about it in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on everything happening in the automotive world, and share the video so no one else falls into the trap of these models. See you in the next video.